So now we're on the password. Right? So here we're saying enter the password, enter your password. Oh, and actually we don't want to use print. Print line, we want to use print here and there. And we're taking in the password. And how does a password work? Well, it needs to contain, be at least 8 characters long, contain at least 2 numerical values, 1 uppercase letter, and 1 lowercase letter. So how can we get this done? Well, we're going to iterate through the password, and we're going to need to use counting variables to count how many numerical values, how many uppercase values, how many lowercase values, and then check all of these conditions. Okay. So what do I mean? I mean, we're over here. I've taken the password. I'm going to iterate through the password. So I'm going to say int I is equal to 0, I is less than password dot length, and then I'm going to do an I plus plus. From there, I'm going to check. First, I'm going to check the numerical values, right? So I'm going to come up here and say int num count is equal to 0. Have a counter for that. So how do I check the number of numbers, right? I can say password.char at, and I'm going to use the ASCII values. So I'm over here. Numerical values are between 48 and 57, right? 48 and 57. Or I could just kind of, I think I could, no, okay, no, that looks good. So I'm going to say greater than or equal to 48 and less than or equal to 57. And I'm going to say password.char at, like so. Okay, so if that's true, then it's a number, and I could say num count plus plus. Right? But I don't only need to check the num count. I also need to check, what else do I need to check? The uppercase letters. Right? So how am I going to do that? Well, I could say else if, right? And I can check the uppercase letters. And going back to my ASCII table, I can see that my uppercase letters start at 65 and end at 90, 65 to 90. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this and say 65 and 90. So if that's true, then it's an uppercase. So I'm going to say upper count plus plus. And I'll make an upper count as well. And we could also create variables like so. Right? And I also need a lower count as well. So I'm going to do the same thing. And now I'm going to count the lowercase letters. Ooh, I need an I in here. The lowercase letters. So that's 97 to 122. 97 to 122. 122. And I'm going to say lower count plus plus. Right? So when this for loop finishes iterating, then we know that, no, then we could check and see if and all of those conditions are true, right? And what are all of those conditions? It must be at least 8 characters long. So I'm going to say if password.length is greater than or equal to 8, and right? What else I'm going to check? At least 2 numerical values. So I have my count. I say num count is greater than or equal to 2, and my upper count is greater than 0, right? 1 or more, and lower count is greater than 0. So if it passes all of those checks, then I know I'm a good password, right? So good password. And you can move on in the program. Right? So this is one way that you can solve this problem. And just one thing I want to note before you guys move on is the best practice is to create all of our variables at the top of our method, right? This main method, and to use them down below. So we're here and we have this fname, right? We're not creating fname at the beginning of the method. We're creating it in the middle. This is bad practice. So I'm going to take this fname, I'm going to create it up here, and I am going to use it down on line 12, like so. Okay. Notice here that I'm creating all of these variables, string password, right? No, I want to create it up at the top, like so. And I want to use it down below, like that, right? Same thing with all of these int nums and whatnot. I want to go ahead and create them up here and use them down below, down here. Okay, so this is the best practice, is to create all your variables at the top of your method and then use them down below like so.